On Minecraft economy servers, there's one technique that a lot of people overlook and can actually make you very, very rich, and this is farming. You may have tested out farming when you first began. You made small farms like this, you harvested over and over again, but you realized at the end of the day, you're coming up short. You're still not rich, but don't worry. In this video, we're going to show you how to become a pro farmer. When you log onto the server that you want to farm on, we have to take it slow for a second. We have to ensure the server meets the requirements to actually farm in an economy-based setting. If some of these requirements aren't met, you may have to find a different server, unfortunately. Now, before you run off into the wild to make your base, stop and ask these 5 questions in chat. First, can you sell crops here? If you can't sell crops here, you can't farm and you can't make money, you might want to switch servers. The second question, does this server have MMO? Most servers do, but in the odd chance this one doesn't, you're going to need it specifically for the Herbalism skill. Once the skill reaches level 1000, your crops will automatically replant every time you break them, which will save you a lot of time. It'll also give you double the crop drops, making you more money, and once you hit level 1000, your crops regrow at, I believe, stage 4, which is the stage right before its max growth, so it'll save you time in between harvests as well. The third question is, can you obtain /fly? Whether it be by in-game means or buying it with real money, you're going to need the /fly command in order to make your base, especially if you're auto farming. If you don't want fly and you want to tough it out and you have extreme patience, that's okay too. For the first 2 questions, you need to have a yes with it. The fourth question, are auto farms allowed? This kind of goes with the fly one, but auto farms are a great way to make passive money, and you kind of need fly to make a big effective one. If they're not allowed, that's okay. Usually manual crops are overpowered as is. And the final question, are chunk hoppers an item here? Chunk hoppers just pick up items that are automatically dropped on the ground. So fly, auto farms, and chunk hoppers, they're kind of lumped together. You don't need them. But the first 2 questions, can you sell crops? And does this server have MMO? The answer to that needs to be yes. Just to be sure you understood what I'm saying, of those 5 requirements, you have to be able to sell crops, and the server has to have MMO. Fly, auto farms, and chunk hoppers aren't a necessity, but they do make the experience better. Once you have figured that out, it's finally time to go to the wild. Usually most servers have a /wild command or /RTP, or even in this case, a portal to take you to the wild. Now, once you get to the wild, you're probably going to wonder, what's the best biome to make your farm in? And the answer isn't any of these land biomes, it is the ocean biome. And there's 3 reasons why. 1, you don't have to worry about water sources for your first layer crops. 2nd, the land's already flat, you don't have to do any excavating. And 3, because the ocean is the level of Y60, it's below majority of the land stuff, so you're going to have more to work with height-wise. Once you find an ocean biome, take a seat, I'm going to explain some stuff, and then we'll get into farming. Now, once you find a good ocean, one thing you also want to ask in chat, it's not a requirement, but then something you need to know is what is the render distance on the server. For example, when I stand in this middle chunk here, I can load 4 chunks in each direction, meaning I can make a farm that has 9 by 9 or 81 chunks in total. Now, what I like to do is, in this case of it being 9 by 9, I like to lay out with an outer border of whatever block you're choosing where I can build. So as you can see here, it's split into 81 chunks using chunk borders. I believe it's F3G. You can turn that on, you can see it, you can count it. And if you're me, I'm not too pressed for space, so I like to have the middle chunk as a buffer. A little chunk for myself where I can build upwards, have some storage, all that fun stuff. Once you've figured out the render distance of the server and made the perimeter around your farm, there's 2 things that we have to do before we start farming the main crop, which is usually potato or carrots. You have to get your Herbalism to level 1000 before doing anything essentially. There are 2 main ways to raise your Herbalism very quickly, and the first way is with sugarcane. With sugarcane, with 1 plant, you can get essentially double the EXP if you hit the top one and then the middle one. You can do this while flying and running, and you'll essentially hit every single thing in that row as long as you're angled correctly. I'd say about a 45 degrees upwards. The other way is to use glowberries, which you can find in lush caves, but the only downside is, from my experience, you can't really sell this. So if you're looking to make money, sugarcane is the way to go. as well as raise your herbalism, but this way is much faster. We're going to compare this server where it's very hard to level, getting an insane amount of EXP just by a little bit, and compare it to sugarcane. It is crazy, and this seems to be universal. Now let's assume you've chosen sugarcane. You're going back to your farm and you're wondering, Koro, when I go to the border of my farm, why are we having the one block within the render resistance? Wouldn't it make more sense to have the border right here? And the answer is no, and I'll show you why. Assuming your server is 9x9 as well, which a lot are, this will give you an even amount of sugarcane rows. And for sugarcane, each block of sugarcane needs water. So you're going to have 2 wide rows of dirt and then 1 wide row of water in between rows for a total of, however many you want. In this case, it's 48. And this is what your farm will look like once you've placed all that dirt and all that sugarcane. There's probably around 55,000 plants of sugarcane here. Crazy amount, but remember, you're not breaking the bottom layer, so it's a little bit less. But you can harvest over and over again until you hit 1k herb. And if you really want to do glow berries, you will need fly. And I'd honestly recommend seeing if someone has a farm for it first, because it takes so long to set up and the yield isn't worth it money-wise. This is where we're going to end it off for today. I really hope this helped you start your farming journey on whatever economy server you're playing on. If you have any questions, you can join my Discord down below and ask me your questions there, and I'll try to help as best as possible. Next time, we're going to go over the best way to set up manual farms as well as auto farms, so make sure you stick around for that. Peace.